Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for another Combermere Live interview. My name is Hess Naitram, and tonight our guest is Michael Small, the head of the Physical Education Department at the Combermere School. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Here. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about.
Yes. Well, we have a history together. We went to school around the same time.
Yes.
But we want to know some stuff about you that a lot of people might not know. So we're going to delve into a little bit of that. So please tell us about your memories of your early life growing up in London and then in Barbados.
Well, to be honest with you, there's not much I can remember. I would have grown up in London, Paddington, to be precise. I remember going to school at a school called S&D School. Had some brushes with racism at a very early age, you know.
Wow.
And I remember my mom, she would always talk about Barbados. So I remember a time she said, "Listen, I'm taking you guys to Barbados." So for me, Barbados was just something I heard about. I didn't do any research on Barbados. Which child at 9 years old can do research anyhow? So I
Yeah.
came to Barbados, moved to Britain's Hill for a couple of weeks, lived in a place called Villa Road, went to Bay Primary, and they put me in class two. But when I moved to King Street, I went to Wesley Hall. They put me in class three. And in that class, I would have had Joseph Codrington, known as Kodji,
Yeah.
and Clyde Maskell,
Wow.
right? But
Yeah.
then I came to Combermere, and at Combermere, the guys teased me about my English accent, to be honest with you. And they just got fed up with being teased about this English accent, and they made a conscious effort to speak like a Bajan. So
Okay.
the English accent went away very quickly. But yeah, because they would come and ask me to pronounce certain words, and at first I couldn't understand what was all the interest in this English accent.
Yeah.
And I just got tired of it. So I decided, look, I want to fit in. I started speaking like a Bajan. And here I am now, more Bajan than anybody else.
That is great. Now, please share some insight on the impact your family had and your parents had on you.
Well, when I came to Barbados, it was just my mom and my two brothers.
Okay.
And my mother and father had three children, but my father had some more. So my mother was a disciplinarian, a diminutive woman, but she ruled with an iron fist.
Mm.
And many a time I tried to trick this woman, me and my brothers, and all it ended up was me getting some lashes,
Ah,
and a lot of lashes. So I decided, look, the lashes were had me uncomfortable, so I stopped it. But I remember getting ready for the examination. She just wanted us to do well.
mhm,
She wanted us to just to pass for what she called at that time a high school.
mhm.
So I passed for Combermere. Now we had a chance to do the exam again. And she wanted me to do it again because she wanted me to go to Harrison College.
Yeah.
So I told her I'm not doing the exam again. If
Mhm.
I do the exam again, it's a waste of time because I like Combermere. Because quickly, I just grew to love the place. There were a lot of people around that I idolized. We'll talk about that a little more later as we go into the thing.
Yeah.
And, at Combermere, Harry Seeley, Charlie Pilgrim, and especially Harry Seeley had a significant impact on my life. He was very kind, and I guess I used to frustrate him as a student because I was very poor at maths. I think the only time I ever passed maths is when Harry Seeley taught me. But
Wow.
I remember Harry Seeley more for his kindness
Yes.
than anything else.
Yes.
And I remember a time he did something for me, and I decided there and then if I have a chance to help somebody, I would help. I would help somebody. So I am always trying to help people because it doesn't cost anything to be kind.
Definitely. Definitely. Harry Seeley made a distinct impact on so many of us. In fact, we have a group of Commonwealthians, and I'm part of it, that are named Harry's Dreamers, that we do a lot of charity work, and it's named in honor of him.
Yes, I've heard about you guys. I've been, through social media, been able to follow some of your exploits. Yes,
Yeah.
Harry was definitely impactful, and then there were other teachers. As I said, Charlie Pilgrim, um, Dieter Maynard. Then they had some guys with some nicknames. We had Panjo, Bombay. They were characters, but
Yes.
teachers at Combermere
Uh,
to this day, they care about the students. And I think that that's what made my stay at Combermere so memorable and enjoyable. The teachers really cared and they went out of their way to show you that they cared.
yes.
And fortunately, I'm in position now to do the same thing. And that's what I try to do every single day while I'm at school.
Yes. Because whether you do it or not, the children are looking at you to see what you're doing, and you make a positive or negative impact depending on what you provide them. Um, so tell us a lot more about the when you went to school. Who were the people that you looked up to? The other students that you looked up to, the older guys. Who were your mentors? Who would you wanted to admire and be like? Because when I
Well,
went to school, I remember Neil Haynes and you know what I mean, and all those sort of guys. You know, Pedro Corbin and and those
well,
guys.
well, 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 because I was into sports,
Hmm.
I was an average footballer. Tried my hand at track and field, but Combermere had some athletes that you just had to remember.
Yes.
Harcourt racing, the same Neil Haynes,
Hmm.
Richie Holder. In football, Peter Hawkins, who we call Vicious,
Vicious. Yes.
Winslow Ashby in cricket, Ricky Craig,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Peter
Barney
Norval,
Corbin.
Peter Norval, who to
Yes.
this day remains some person that I have a lot of respect for.
Hmm.
A person who has been shadowing my career, as a matter of fact, offering a lot of support. Uh, those were the guys I looked up to. I wanted to be like those guys. Probably failed miserably, but those were the guys from a very early age that I looked up to. And I could fast forward to this present time now, and I am proud to call Harcourt one of my closest friends.
Well, speaking of Mr. Harcourt, listen, Harcourt is here, so we'll bring on Harcourt. Welcome, Harcourt, and join us. You're on mute, Harcourt. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Good.
Yeah. Good
Welcome.
night.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me to say a few words on Mike's behalf. And
But you can
yes, we
tell us
go
about
back.
your first experience meeting Mike, and then and you can go from there.
Well, actually, I do not remember Mike from school,
Okay.
but in recent times, sometime in the 90s, Mike will be able to give you the exact year. It
Hmm.
was at a hockey
1990.
game, 1990. It was at a hockey game at YMCA, and during that time, the football team wasn't doing well at all. We were holding some blows, as they would say. And Mike approached me and asked um, if I if he could offer his services to coach the football team. Now, during that time, we would have had a few persons who would have come around to assist with football. The thing about it is that these guys knowledgeable, but they did not have that Combermere culture. Um, so while they were knowledgeable, and I think that they were more, and I said Combermere, but I would even say that a school culture. They would have had a club culture. So they did not fit in as we would have hoped that they would have. So we went from one person to the next and to the next, like on and on like that. So when Mike asked if he could do it, it was a blessing in disguise. So I readily accepted, and really the rest is history.
Okay. So, Mike, you have one of your idols here and one of your friends. Tell us the impact that Harcourt has had on you.
Oh well, that goes without saying. The thing is that when I approached Harcourt about coaching the football team, let me be honest, I had this lofty idea where I thought I would be the first Barbadian football coach to take Barbados to the World Cup. Now, the very first game that I coached Combermere, we get beat 7-0, okay? went to Princess Margaret, 6 roads, and we get beat 7-0. It was a most humbling experience. But the thing that I remember is that Harcourt stuck with me. Harcourt said, listen, don't worry about it. This is something that we could fix. And I think there was a football course that put on by the BFA. And Harcourt encouraged me to go to the course. And within a couple of years, I was able to turn around the fortunes of the football team. I was able to go back to that same Princess Margaret and get them 9. So I repaired the 7 with interest.
So I understand. Let me interrupt you here because you ain't giving the story right. I was told that when you went to Princess Margaret, because 6 Roads is over there, when they beat Combermere 7-Lab, they renamed the place 7 Roads.
Well, that rumor has it. Rumor had it.
And
that
then,
that
listen,
happened.
and then you went back and you put 9 in them and you rename it 9 Roads.
Well, you know, these things happen, right? But
Mike, I think you must give him the story with the Spoonie.
oh well, I guess one morning I think we had received another drubbing, and Spoonie said the microchip in the computer brought down trying to calculate the goals that were scored against Combermere. I think we conceded 36 goals in my first season as coach. The next year, when I thought it couldn't get any worse, we conceded 50.
Wow.
And, you know, all like them people were calling from my head. People called all these brand name coaches, and Harcourt said, no, I can stick with this guy. And in 1995, this is when the football revolution under Michael Small started. We met the mighty Lodge School. Combermere was the second division team at the time. And we met Lodge in the knockout final. So we've gone over to the stadium, and in the dressing room, you can hear this loud noise. So when we went out to the field now to play, for the teams to be introduced, I looked in the stands, and I think almost every student was in the stands.
Wow.
We had trumpets, we had drums, we had everything. The score at halftime was 0-0. But Lodge were begging us to beat them. So I told the guys at halftime, listen, we just need to score 1 goal. So at that time, we had a guy named Sherwin Daisy, better known as Flash. He scored a lot of goals last season. He's got the first goal. Lodge capitulated. We beat them 2-0. And I just went on a run from 95 to the early 2000s, where Combermere became the team that people didn't want to play against. Wow. And it was all because Harcourt gave me a chance.
But Mike, I wanted to give him the story. When you approached you, I asked about. I mean, you can't tell it. You know, we're back in, but you can relate that story.
I was lineman at the school. So Spoonie came to me and said, I understand you are our football coach. I said, yes. He said, you are either a fool or a brave man. So I told him, Mr. Roach, if you give me some time, I can win a title. In 95, when we won the title, the first person to shake my hand was Spoonie. Now, I cannot repeat what Spoonie said. Harcourt knows what he said.
Yeah.
But he said, I didn't believe you, but congratulations.
Okay.
So Spoonie would come to games and watch games. And as I said, 95 was the beginning of a revolution at Combermere football. We went on to win multiple titles. We did the senior knockout and the league in 97. So we won it, retained the title in 98, won it in 99. In 2000, we were picked for the title in the league, won the knockout. In between there, we won on the 17 competitions, had people who scored the most goals, most outstanding players. It was really a fantastic time. And all of that helped to make me a better person. Because I think that when I look back at the 7-0, as I said, it was humbling.
Yes.
It was a very humbling experience. But as I said, Harcourt stuck with me. And fast forward, and then I then became a PE teacher and took over from Harcourt. And working around Harcourt, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about discipline, commitment, and how to get along with children. And one of my greatest strengths, if I may say, is the ability to motivate people. And we had teams that on paper they were not the strongest teams, but anytime we got to a final, they were the best prepared teams in Barbados. Trust me.
Good. Discipline. Discipline,
If
yes.
if I may come in here,
Thank
Hess,
you, Harcourt.
because Mike is saying, I stuck with him, but you know, it was a case here is someone who approaches you and has the exuberance, to and the will to want to go after and coach this program. So, it was really a no-brainer to not to start with Mike. And even in the early days when we were being humbled by the other schools, it was really it was a weight off my shoulders, one, and just a one that had that interest, that drive to take that team. And Mike did not only take on the football coaching. Mike showed an interest in the school.
Okay.
He would come with the athletics team to what became BSAC, which what is now BSAC. He would come with the team. He would make his contribution. Sometimes, if initially, he would be party to do so, but he would make his contribution, and he would play a role. So he was the ideal man. I think being a Combermere coaching Combermere made all the difference.
Great. Awesome. Now, Mike, I knew you from at school and you were more reserved and shy. How did you get all this confidence now to become a PE teacher? Because as a PE teacher, you have to be vocal and be, interactive with people. So all this stuff, how did all this stuff come about?
Well, obviously, to become a coach, I had to become more vocal.
Yes.
And at first, I would watch games, and I wouldn't talk much on the sidelines. I would just give instructions at halftime before the game. And one day, a guy said, "But coach, we need you to talk, man. We need you
Hmm.
to talk." So I started to go and watch basketball practices, netball, hockey, and I watched how coaches interacted with people. And I just made a change where I said, "Well, okay, I'm by nature I'm a very quiet person, a very humble person,
Hmm.
but to get to the players, I had to change my style of operating." And somewhere along the line, I became hooked on motivational literature, a lot of
Okay.
quotation and stuff like that. I think I got that from Harcourt too. And I started to use quotations to inspire the guys, and it worked. It worked like magic. And to this day, there I have a cadre of friends that I send inspirational messages to every single morning. So
Yes.
the change from the quiet Michael to the reserved Michael to somebody who's a little more animated, it
Yes.
just happened naturally. And I know which Michael to put in which situation as the season go on.
Yes, definitely so. So, any more questions there, Harcourt, for him?
So I actually I would just give Mike would probably have this up his sleeve. So, I in 1997, we did the double in at BSAC, um, boys and girls, and then in football, we won first division and knockout.
Hmm.
So it's a double, double, double.
Yes, yes.
So I then had the offer to go to Cayman, and um, so in doing so, and by that time, Mrs. Quayle was the principal. So in speaking to Mrs. Quayle, she said, "Court, is there anyone you have in mind to replace you while you're gone?" I said, "We have him right here. If we are going no further, we have Mike here." So Mike then took over, and I think Mike, you can carry on from there, having to go through your studies, etc.
Yes, Ben Harcourt left. My first BSAC with Mara Thompson as my boss. Combermere has gone into the championship as the defending champions in both double crown winners.
Wow.
And the school came gunning for Combermere because they said, "Well, Harcourt wasn't there anymore, so we going for Combermere." And unfortunately, we lost. Springer started their reign of supremacy in '98, and I think Lodge won the boys. No, St. James secondary. St. James won the boys. But I remember standing up in the middle of the football field, like to Amara, I do not like how this feels, and I don't want to feel like this ever again. '99, there was a controversial win. One minute they said Combermere won, then they said Lodge won, then they said Combermere won, then they said Lodge won.
Wow.
And the sports finished in the night, in the dark of the night. Combermere children crying, Lodge children crying. So when I left there, Lodge were declared the winners.
Wow.
I've Monday morning, usually after BSAC or in the school sports that was done, we will have a special assembly. And I remember telling the children, don't worry about the defeat. If the boys team do what I think they can do, by lunchtime we will have the championship won. But before I go there, the over the let me see the Monday, by the Wednesday, the official word was that Combermere had won the title. So, it was a bittersweet moment. But what pleased me was that in '99 when we had this controversial win, in 2000 we won by 64 points. We
Wow.
won by 64 points.
Wow.
And one of the things I like about Combermere children, and I talk about athletes now in the holistic manner, but obviously the track and field would be the catalyst for a lot of things I did. The children always knew that once the coach, that like when Harcourt was there, the children believed in Harcourt. So they knew that Harcourt believed in them, so they in turn delivered. Same thing happened when Harcourt left. Harcourt would still give us some help because after all, he had just left a year ago, so he helped us. But I've had a lot of pleasant memories at BSAC. Then there were some that were bittersweet,
Hmm.
and now we are in the ascendancy again. Uh, Taking over, I remember Harcourt gave me some advice when he was leaving. I would never forget this. Somebody got three things to tell you: be firm, but be fair. I said, okay, that's number one. Number two, Mike, be firm, but be fair. So I said, well, obviously, the third one is be firm, but be fair. And he also told me, Mike, you don't have to prove that you're an athletic coach. You're not an athletic coach. Just do the football. Because Harcourt had the foresight to make sure Blackie, God rest him in his grave, was there with us.
Okay.
And in the early days working with Blackie and Mara, and then when Roddy Eswick came on, those were some very happy times.
Hmm.
And I remember years ago in politics, they had this thing talking about politics of inclusion. Inclusion started at Combermere, man, because we embrace people. I have a maths teacher at Combermere who is my basketball coach. I have people, a guy who teaches technical drawing. He's a female basketball coach because my department, there are four of us, and
Hmm.
there's no way all four of us can cover every single sport, right? So you have to find people to help you,
Hmm.
and that's something I learned from Harcourt. So my time at the school, I would admit that I am proud of my achievements at the school. When I look at somebody like Shane Jones, Shane Jones was very good at impersonating people. So one day the children told me, sir, you need to come to class early because Shane Jones is always doing impersonations of you and Blackie. I said, really? So that morning, I came to the class via a different route.
Uh,
When I got there, Shane Jones was in his element, mocking Blackie, pulling up his pants, the whole Blackie pull his pants, and using his hands to talk. I use my hands to talk a lot.
yeah, yeah.
So the children are mostly to Shane, Mr. Small behind you, and Shane is in full floor. So then he looks around and sees me, and we both break out in this laugh. I said, very nice impersonation.
Uh,
Anyway, I want to see you at lunchtime.
uh,
Took him upstairs in the room. I said, very nice impersonation. Don't you ever do it again. He didn't do it again. Fast forward, he started to read the news at CBC. He was into sports, no with the union. To this day, he's my friend. To
Okay.
this day, he is my friend. And Harcourt also told me that I'm going to find a group of children that I'm going to become close to, and more than likely, we will become friends. So I have a lot of guys that and female students who respect me to the max. I look out for them. I follow their progress, their careers, and that's the common area, and I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. I wouldn't change it.
Me either. And I bet Harcourt wouldn't either.
Oh yeah. we do it
Combermereans,
all over. We do
we
it all over
Combermere,
again.
the better end. Let's also speak about a gentleman that both of us know, and unfortunately he passed just a year or so ago, which was Mike Gaskin. Tell us a little bit about how Mike Gaskin impacted you, my friend.
Wow, Mikey. When I got the job at Combermere, Mikey called me and told me, "Listen, you have my unconditional support," and that meant a lot to me because Mikey was one of the guys that I idolized. Mikey would go to BSAC, but I would never see Mikey. He would always put himself in some place where I wouldn't see, but he was able every day after BSAC to give me a ball by ball. Well, sorry, not ball by ball, but anyway, he would be able to tell me exactly what we did right, what we did wrong, what we need to do the next day. Now, Mikey had this habit of calling me and saying, "Skipper, we need to talk." Anytime Mikey says, "Skipper, we need
Uh,
to talk," I know I can get a tongue lashing.
uh,
So one day, Mikey called me, "Skipper, we need to talk." I said, "Okay." How soon we could get there? When I look at Mikey by the door standing up, he said he's not coming in. He's upset with me.
wow.
I said, "What you do?" He said, "Man, we going to be sacked and I don't like how the children performing. The children just going through emotions. I don't like that. That's not the common way."
Yeah.
Now, Mikey also had a way of not just telling you off. He would use some strong language and some stiff words. So I get a mouthful that day.
Yeah.
I get a mouthful.
Uh,
Anyway, he said, "Listen to me carefully, right? I will back you to the end. But you see those children, make them understand the Combermere uniform means something to us old scholars."
yes.
So next day, I had a talk before the meet, and the attitude changed. First phone call I get, "Mikey, I say, listen to me." And I always felt sorry. I always knew that Mikey had my back, and I he's another person. He's dead and gone, and a debt I could never repay. Mikey taught me a lot, not just about track and field. He was like my big brother. I refer to Harcourt as my brothers from another mother.
Yeah.
But Mikey definitely had a significant impact on my development as a person and a teacher. So I would always hold him in very, very high esteem. God rest
Most,
him in his grave.
most definitely. We were lucky to call him a friend
Yes, very much so.
And the brother.
and a brother.
Yes, a friend and a brother for sure.
Yes. Yes. So tell us about the mental aspect, right, of coaching. How do you instill that
Oh
mental?
well,
Just physical stuff is good, but you have to be mentally strong. So how do you impact and
okay.
implement that into the
I
children?
I I reckon at once I recognize that the football team had reached a peak with their playing performances,
Mhm.
and I decided we needed to have this mental edge. Now I share this with other coaches, and they laugh at me. Man, we were going with that, being ready for that in Barbados. That's bare foolishness. But I stuck to my guns, because one of the things about me, when I believe in something, I will try it. If it doesn't work, well, cool. So I remember, as I told you, there were a few competitions that I won competitions. On paper, we did not have the strongest teams, but in terms of mental preparation, Combermere teams were always mentally prepared for our games. So then I took over from Harcourt. I decided, look, there's something now. The entire student body, the entire athletic fraternity, all the sportsmen at Combermere must go through this here. Now, it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. it took a while, but it came to the fact then that, like for instance, football match days, there is a meeting. If you come to the PE room and find the door shut, don't open it. It means that you're late. If you're late, stay outside.
Yeah.
So it reached a stage that guys would tell each other, listen, we have to be early for our meeting. So the mental thing brought about a lot of discipline, and the guys trusted me. And I think that when you get teams trusting you, that half your work finish, half of your work is done. Because
Yeah.
as I said, there was a stage where I knew when the guys were going to win, but I couldn't tell them that. I had to keep driving them and pushing them because I didn't want them to become complacent. And as I
Yes.
said, I just decided, look, let me get in these fellas' head. And as I said, it didn't happen overnight. There were certain things I did, like imagery. Imagery is where you get the guys to sit down or lie down and picture their best performance at any stage of their life.
Yes.
And then you ask them to recreate that and go back there. Now, as I said, it didn't work instantly. Some of the players, man, you come with beer. But I always found one or two guys in the team to go through. And once I had one or two guys that were popular in the team to go through them,
Yeah.
it worked.
Good.
So I think that it shames me to say this, but Barbados football, when I see the state of Barbados football, I feel like crying. We have good players, really good players, but that's another story for another time.
Okay. Okay. But yes, there's here in the United States where I am, visualization is a big thing with the
Yes.
professional athletes. They
Yes.
say,
Yes.
people like Tom Brady and those guys, they say that they sit down the night before and they visualize every play, how it's going to happen.
Exactly.
Everything positive, and they put positive images into their heads so that when they
Right.
come to the game now, they're relaxed and they already kind of played the game, and it's just being rewound and being
Right.
repeated in front
But
of
that's
them.
where I had Combermere a few years ago.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, in 2015, the Combermere School of Scholars Association decided to commemorate my 25th anniversary as coach. I would have started coaching the team in 1990. By then, the job of coaching the football team and running the department became too much for me to do. Fortunately, a young man at the school by the name of Marlon Hart, he was at Combermere. He's the football coach now, and he was able to build on the foundation that I left for him. So I no longer coach the football team. I supervise, I probably oversee, if you want to use the word, to make sure that we stay on the right path. And I'm happy to see that in 2024, Combermere is still a force we reckon with in football.
Good. So tell me a little bit about the students that have come through you now that have gone on and performed really well outside of school, and the impact that you
Well,
have on them.
most of the success will be in their professional lives. A lot of
Okay.
them played football to a point, and
Mhm.
then they reached a point that like they were studying, and football had to give or track and field. So okay, there's so many people in athletics. Dr. Sunita Alexander would have come through the Combermere program. There's a guy called Ryan Braffett, not the Ryan Braffett who won the medal at World Championships, but
Mhm.
Ryan Braffett is the owner of Ticket Links. I think he's the brains behind Hackleton's construction. He sponsored the track and field team last year.
Mhm.
Shane Jones, as I mentioned just now, Ronaldo Walters, who is in Atlanta. There are many of them. Some here in Barbados, Gregory Williams. Um, there are too many names to mention, but
Mhm.
all of them have done very well professionally, and they remember, and most of them give back to the school. I
Yeah.
think giving back is something very important.
Yes.
Mike, I must mention too that in cricket,
Oh
the
yes,
So we at one point we would have had like 5 or 6 Combermereans on the West Indies team.
Yes,
Other
yes.
others would have come through.
My
You know,
apologies to the cricketers.
Yeah.
and the
The
current West Indies captain
is a Combermerian.
would have been
Yes.
in your
And
under
and,
your.
and and while he was at Combermere, he played football for Combermere. He did track and field too.
Wow.
He was on a track and field team that did very well. He had
Yes.
a javelin record at one stage. So
Yes.
the thing about Combermere and the people who are involved in sports, like you will find there are certain students who play almost every sport, and in a way, it's good. But I think that the Combermere sportsman recognizes that a lot is required or expected of him because
Mhm.
we stress good grades, proper deportment. You must be seen as a role model,
Definitely.
and I will not, I will not allow a child to think that it's just about sports.
Hmm.
A Combermere student, a Combermere athlete must understand he's an ambassador. And I think we've done a great job at the school getting people to understand that.
Most definitely. Now let's run back to Sanita because she said something to you, a quote. Remember the quote that she said she remembered from you?
Oh Lord, there's so many quotes I can't remember because
It's not about
one.
success. Success doesn't come to you. You have to go to success.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I told her some. I told that group, yes, success doesn't come to you. You go to it, and she remembered that. So as I said, like okay, when we get in BSAC mode, it's it's an operation. It's not just going to the stadium to run. We get
Hmm.
the team to understand. The bigger children have to adopt the smaller ones. The smaller children have to understand it's not just about going to the stadium and running. BSAC is something that can change your life forever. And for Sunita to remember that, it was humbling. She
Hmm.
reminded me about it. So yes, I wonder how you know about that.
I know a lot of things, my brother.
Okay.
I know that you never get a flogging from none of the headmasters, so that you were excellent student.
I wouldn't say excellent. As you pointed out, very, very quiet.
Yeah.
I would not I would describe myself as an average footballer. Uh, I got into football through, but as you all, as I said, Clyde Maskell we were in the same class.
Yeah.
He was my first football captain. Then when I came to Combermere, I came into contact with a guy named Anthony Gittins, who we used to call Mala, a top
Yes.
class
Yes. Yes.
goalkeeper.
Yes. Yes.
So one day somebody threw a hopping ball at me. So my natural inclination is to control it. So Mala said, wait, man, you could play football. Come and join the YMCA. So I joined the YMCA, win a tournament with the YMCA, and the rest is
You was with
history.
Ansel Marquez there?
Yes, that was my
Yes.
first
That's
coach
that's
and
one of my
another
boys.
person
Yeah.
that had a significant impact on my life.
Yes. Ansel. Yes, most definitely. Harcourt, jump in anytime, man, and ask any questions that you want. You're on mute though. You're on mute.
Yeah, yes, yes. No problem. I'm listening to Mike's story. You know, the road he took, and rather interesting. And I think from being head of the department at the time when Mike came on, and how Mike fitted in. It was not. You did not have to do a lot to get him to where you wanted that person to be. Because as I mentioned with the former football, some other football coaches, and we had a guy in basketball. These fellas, they weren't fitting in.
Yes.
So it was very easy for Mike to fit in. And one of the things that he mentioned about overseeing the department, I'm happy that he's able to get to that point. Because something that I had spoke about long before was, you know, we are in Barbados where we have probably like about, I don't know, like I would say 12 competitive sports. And I know as a young PE teacher, I came back to Barbados, and I was coaching cricket, I was coaching football, track, involved in hockey and basketball. So you're jack of all trades, and you're not mastering any.
Yeah.
So I think after about 2 years, it dawned on me that Harcourt, you got to get some help. You can't do it on your own. And what really drove it home was one evening. We had male hockey, female hockey, male volleyball, female
Wow.
volleyball,
Hmm.
tennis, netball, basketball, I think something else. We had
Yeah.
like about 8 teams going to different venues for competitions.
Wow.
You know, so as a result, some of these teams are going alone.
Yeah.
So we're talking back in the early 80s. Right now, you can't risk it right now.
Okay.
Back then you were able to do that, and you had students who were able you were able to control, and they are able to control but that really drove it home that you have to get someone to individual coaches for each school. So and when you get someone like Mike to come on,
Yeah.
that's great. If you can get these people from within the school to coach, that's better. That's a best case scenario. But if you are coming in, you
Yeah.
got to make sure you got to do some vetting. You got to, and then you're going to end up doing. You don't want to do it, but you probably end up micromanaging,
Okay.
right? So with a mic small, it's yours, buddy. You run with it. Any problems? Just check. I'm not far. I'm not far from you.
I know that. I
Well,
know that.
thank you for that comment, Harcourt. And we welcome now David Strawn. David, welcome. You're on mute, so put your mute off and welcome, sir.
Hi guys,
Hi, David.
how you doing? All right, congratulations. Um, Mike, there's so much that I could say about you and watching you over this almost 30 years now, isn't it? Almost 30 years. And
Yes.
you made a comment earlier, Mike, about being honored at your 25th anniversary at the school, and I was shocked just now. I said 25 years. And I remember, yeah, it was 25 years. And then I
Wow.
started to look at this barrel-chested man there, so like Harcourt, that I sat next to in Lower 1C in 1966. It was Strawn, Thornhill, Wason. Strawn, those were the seating arrangement in 1966. You look the same way, and I cannot believe where this time has gone, Michael. But
And,
suffice it
and
to say,
that's
though,
and that's
that
and that's
over the
almost
years,
60 years.
yeah. Don't worry to spread it the wrong Harcourt. Don't worry to spread it. But
It is what it is, David.
in watching, that's right. But Michael, I'll have to say that the past 30 years have gone by like greased lightning. But you are emerging, if not have emerged, as the ultimate and consummate Combermerian. You have jumped into every void where needed. You have, over the years, undertaken tasks that were shunned by others. You live and breathe Combermere School like no other. I mean, I I see a man that is willing to make sure that Combermere remains the sharpened tip of this proverbial spear that that charts the path forward, that sets the standard, that sets the pace, that takes defeat in stride and still rolls on to emerge on top eventually. You mentioned a name like Sunita Alexandra, who I also is representative of what the consummate commerce student is. I mean, I used to pray that if I ever had a daughter, she would be Sunita Alexander. I have seen that young woman just grow from strength to strength. You're talking about a Victor to Durham, a CSU in the cadets, a, a
Yes.
top
Yeah.
a top student, and now a medical practitioner with their family. It is just everything falling into place. And you wonder, I said, but she would have had to have people in her life that set her right at the right time. And one of those people is sitting in this studio tonight, and Michael Small. And of course, I think Harcourt, you may have played a part in that too. So, Michael, my comment tonight is that I hope you don't die. My hope is that you stay around Commerce School forever, quite frankly,
Uh,
because even though people like myself and others have a myriad of other things going on, you know that you can pick up the phone and call me to do something, and I can fit in to where you tell me to fit in. Because right now, you are the go-to person, and I've watched you come from. And I still can't understand. I still can't wrap my head around this 30 years, but I've watched you come from that person who is actually quite reserved. I agree with you, Hess.
Yes.
Into this vocal
Yes.
authoritarian
Yes.
that runs things and that everybody can turn to get things done. Michael, I really hope that you live your entire existence in and around Combermere School and don't leave, because if that is going to be the case, the school is in good hands. Congratulations, brother, and you have an ally in me, and whatever you call me to do. And I know we got a lot of work to do, because some of our mentors have fallen by the wayside, and we got to
Yes.
pick up the pieces. So you know that we got a lot of work to do. So whenever you're not ready, you know you got my number. You could give me a call. So congratulations, and I hope that we could do a few more of these interviews. But 2024 is a hard working year for both of us. We know that. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you, David. Thank you very, very much.
Good.
You see, I consider myself fortunate to have attended Combermere as a student and now work there. So I think I got two educations at the school. And there's something that I think me and Harcourt talk about this one time. For me, there's only one way to do something. That's the right way. If I attempt to do something and it's not done right, I haven't done it. So I will do it and do it until it's done the right way. I have not only been a teacher at the school, I've gotten involved in things that might be outside my remit, but I just think that as long as I'm at Combermere, I am supposed to do whatever I can. So along the way, I would have emceed graduations. You and I would have been the host for International Day of Mathematics last year. And this year, the one that really floored me was when I was asked by the principal to be the chairman of the speech day committee. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would do something like that. But Michael Small likes a challenge. That's the truth. I like a challenge. Working at Combermere and working with the people in my department, they are younger than I am, and they keep me on my toes. Let me tell you, you know. And at the school, I'm fortunate to have some excellent teachers at Combermere, some young teachers who are excellent. And as long as I'm at Combermere, I will look out for these people. They know who they are, and I will just continue to do what I can. Harcourt gave me a baton in the zone.
Yes.
When I am ready to pass on the baton to whoever is to get it, they better be in the zone, because if they're not in the zone, it will not be passed.
Yeah.
You run the rest of the relay, me?
Well, if I have to
Okay.
do it, I will do it.
Yes. Yes. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That is amazing. So, Mike, what we're going to do now is we're going to change the tone of this interview a little bit, and we're going to put up some pictures. We can comment on some of these pictures. So,
Okay.
please start the slideshow, and let's see what we have here. What's this, Mike?
This is the end of a 5K at Ram Barbados. In my life, somewhere along the line, I decided to take a distance running of all things.
Yes.
So I have completed 4 half marathons. People keep saying marathons. I have only done halves. So if you add the 4 halves, I guess you get two marathons, right? Right, Court?
Don't work so, brother.
Two more than
So, I do 2 half marathons too, right? I do 2
But
half.
anyway,
Let me tell you, it's a big difference.
This is me finishing around Barbados 5K. I think I
Okay.
did a PB that year.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Wow.
that was 2018.
But
Wow.
Harcourt, I see in 2 biceps there. But Harcourt, you see in
But yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
I was in the gym.
All right. Next slide.
This was 2007. We won, as you see, 8 wins, 1 loss.
Okay.
That team went out of their way to win that competition. They came and told me they want to train during the vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I was upstairs trying to find a way to get them to come to practice, and they came and told me, Coach, we have to train. So he said, good. So that was the result. We won a title that year.
All right.
I'm receiving an award on behalf of Combermere School. We won the best secondary school in terms of sport and performance. We won quite a few of those awards. I cannot remember which year this was, but this is me receiving an award on the school's behalf again.
Okay.
Sunita Alexander, Ronaldo Walters, Michael Small, Chanel Holder, Antonio Blackman. I cannot remember which year this was, but this was a BSAC year
Mhm.
and quite a while ago because Sunita looked like actually she's 12 there. She wasn't there.
Yeah,
Ronaldo, as I said, is in Atlanta.
yeah.
Chanel, I can't remember what Chanel is doing right now. Antonio is a chef.
Well,
But these are people that I remain in contact with.
awesome.
Oh well, I don't think we need any introductions here. Former
Yes,
Prime Minister
yes,
David Thompson, who would have entered Combermere a year after I did.
yeah.
This was a moment that I had to get this picture.
Great memories there.
I think that is the same award that I received on behalf of the school that I had a picture with receiving it from oh Lord Keith Yearwood. That's just
Mhm.
posing with the heart with the trophy, the shield, sorry.
Mhm. All right. That was a nice little slideshow. So now that you look back at all of these moments, um, I mean, obviously there's so many that you have. What are the ones that you think that would stick with you all forever? The ones where you're coaching the students and making an impact on them, or something else?
I can't pinpoint any one thing.
Yeah.
What I will say, what 2015 was a significant moment for me because you know one of the things about when we lose people, we go to funerals, we hear all these accolades about people, and sometimes we don't get a chance to tell the people we love them and things like that. When I was approached, this was a very clandestine operation by the old scholars. Somebody came and asked me about the years I won titles, and I was able to rattle off the years. Little did I know what was going to happen. So a morning, it was during Combermere week. They said, Mr. Small, there's a presentation to be made to the department, so you have to come. So they tell me to dress up. Everybody know I'm in short pants,
Mm-hmm.
polo
Polo
shirt,
shirt.
sneakers
Yeah.
guy. So that morning, slacks, nice shoes, thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I received the equipment on the school's behalf, they said, don't go yet. We have something else for you. For you. I said, oh, shoot, I get tricked. When they called out the years that I would have won titles as a coach, that is one morning I was speechless. Anybody know me know I like to talk. I was speechless that morning. So that would remain with me. Uh BSAC, then we won after the infamous recount, then we won the next year by 64 points. By lunchtime, it was all over. Students coming back to me and saying, sir, thank you. That means a lot to me. Uh, meeting. I've met a lot of nice people during my time at Combermere who have remained friends to this day. So I can't pinpoint any one thing. All I will say is that I've enjoyed my time at Combermere. I look forward to a few more years, and then retirement is beckoning.
Okay.
But I I I I love Combermere. Combermere has made me who I am, and I don't see it as nothing is too much to ask me to do at Combermere. Nothing. I as I said, MC graduations, call out the prize winners list, the prize winners list at speech days. This year had the honor of being the chairman of the speech day committee, and I must say that I had an excellent committee because I think that to get things done, you need a good team, and I had a good team for speech day. I have a good team. That I refer to my team at Combermere in the P department as the A team, right? So I've been blessed to have good people in my life. And I would hope that somewhere along the line I've inspired other people to be good, to be I expect somebody to become a PE teacher and be better than me because I can't go on forever. But you know, I as I said, I can't pinpoint any one thing, but I will just end by saying I'm an unapologetic Combermerean.
And also, I will say this to you also. You have a mantra or a saying, right? About being positive. But an
Oh,
attitude when you get up in the morning, what do you say?
yes. When I get up in the morning, I have two choices.
Yes.
To be miserable or to be positive. I have deliberately chosen over the last 15 years to be positive and to be kind to people. I have had a lot of people who have been very kind to me. So it doesn't take anything off of me. It doesn't cost me anything to be kind. So I am kind to people. I am humble. I like to help people. I like to help people with the fitness. I just like to help people. So it's a matter of accentuating the positive. I've had good role models, David Strawn, Harcourt Racing, Mike Gaskin. I could name so many people.
Yes.
So many people. And there's a group I must shout out before this is finished. That's the
Okay.
Combermere Limers.
Okay.
I remember a time I needed some refreshment for the track team. And I was bothering where you can get this refreshment from. And a colleague said, Michael, leave it to me. I met a guy on the phone called Pearson.
Oh
The
yeah.
rest is history.
Yeah.
The Limers have always stood solidly behind me. And I just want to say thank you guys for all you've done. It means a lot to me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at Combermere next Friday on the 9th when we have our sports.
Well, that is great. Unfortunately, I am in cold Boston, so I can't make it. David and Harcourt will probably be able to go and,
Uh,
and
I,
represent.
I'm in cold Toronto, but I'll be there.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there on Friday.
All right. Well, Mike, it has been a blast having you on and sharing your life story and memories of Combermere. Harcourt and David, you guys, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this interview. Mike?
Before you go ahead,
Yes, go ahead.
just let me intro here. We talked about sports next Friday, and in that other chat where we are trying to do something for Clifton.
Yes,
So
Clifton, yes.
yes.
Clifton, Clifton Bourne, who was our long-standing head groundsman, and I think that if anyone we can spread the word so that those persons who would have interacted with Clifton can come out that day to show him how much they really appreciate what he literally or how much he has done for all of us while we were growing up as schoolboys, and certainly for myself and Michael as teachers.
Yes, we've started a little something for him, and then we're going to expound on that. So you'll be able to present him with that token
Yeah.
of our appreciation.
Yes.
Another good Combermere man. Tell you. So up and on, gentlemen.
Up and on.
Up and on.
Up and on.
Okay.
Keep the flame burning brightly ever.
Take
Will
care.
do.
All right, Teddy.